Hello, I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. It is very springy here. I've got my purple on. I'm loving it. Got my daisy earrings. We are feeling the springtime energy. Something I wanted to talk about today is an idea that has really helped me get through this season and big change of life that we're all kind of going through. Over the last 2 years, if you know what I mean. And that is the phrase or the Bible verse, there is nothing new under the sun. And the reason why this has helped me so much is because with every new thing that we are discovering, with every new thing we are awakening to, it gives me clarity and a sense of peace that anything even evil that has been happening is nothing new. A lot of people are saying that like times that we're in right now are biblical, whatnot. Definitely believe that to an extent, but it just really has given me something to hold on to in knowing that this isn't a new thing that's happening. I believe humanity continues to awaken. And it also kind of brings me to the second part of the idea that I would like to talk about, and that is timelines. You've heard me talk a little bit on timelines before, but it's one of those things that like God just keeps bringing back into my face and I can't escape from it. And there are so many perspectives of how things have happened throughout the world and history. And I'm mind blown thinking about how wrong some of those things can be. Because I'm like, well, that perspective had to come from somewhere. Which kind of leads me into the thought process that every perspective that there is a timeline in of itself. That might be a little bit far-fetched for some people, but honestly, it just keeps making more and more sense. On Sunday, I was over at the home group that I go to that I've talked about before, and we were sitting around having lunch, and we were talking about how, Yahweh, Yeshua was the last Adam, and I was like, just makes me think, how many Adams were there if he was the last? There's like Adam in the garden that was the first, but if Yahweh, Yeshua is the last Adam, how many were there in between? And are there all of these different Adams that represent different timelines? And is Adam a play on word for the atoms that make up our universe? Are there that many timelines, infinite amount of atoms, because there are infinite amount of atoms that make up our universe? It's one of those things I do not have an answer for. It's just another question that I am proposing to myself and to God and the other spirits and beings and stuff that lead me and guide me. But it's a great question. It's something that even Gene Decode talks about all the time. He talks about timelines. And a lot of people think that he's crazy because we can't fathom a timeline that is not the one that we're in. But if you look at movies and you look at books and anything that's like entertainment, those ideas came from somewhere. And to think that we could think of something like that, think of a whole nother world that doesn't actually exist on our own, means that we would be like God. Like we can create something as God can create it. Which I believe we are a part of God. But I don't know if we can unconsciously be creating like that, if you know what I mean. I mean, I guess you could. See, I'm just like questioning everything that I'm even talking about now, because I think it's all really good questions. But this idea of timelines is just makes more and more sense to me. I've heard so many times that like there have been timelines where the bad guys have won. And that's kind of like a timeline that's, you know, in the Bible, like they want us to believe, but it's not the real one, or it's not the one that we actually currently live in. It's almost like the people that canonize scripture were the ones trying to make us all jump into that timeline by agreeing to it. I don't know, man. It's just one of those things. It's one of those things that I continue to question. So this isn't really a wisdom Wednesday, it's more like a question Wednesday. But the idea that also everything new, or there's nothing new under the sun, really helps me and really goes along with that idea of timelines. If there's nothing new that we can create, then there's really nothing new, good or bad, that we can create, because everything's already been created. You know? Just one of those things, right? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments, because obviously I'm still just asking questions, pretty much talking to all of you to see if anybody else has any answers to my questions. Because that's where the power lies, is us coming together and talking as a collective and expressing our perspectives and our ideas and possibly the timelines that we are all living in. I mean, you know, like the Mandela effect. The Mandela effect is a great example. And there's plenty of things that say that, you know, the Mandela effect was a operation, and it very well could be. But like, how did they do that if other timelines don't exist already? Just a thought. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So, just another question for today. Have a fantastic day. Bye.